What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 2, The Princess and the Pea Brain. So, y'all, I just want to announce to y'all that I have put myself into therapy because it was very much needed after watching Jasmine chomp and gnaw at Gino's toe knuckles and lick the bottom of his foot and put practically half of his foot into her goddamn mouth. I had to put myself into therapy because there's no way that anybody can watch that and still be normal afterwards and still be a functioning human being afterwards. And the thing is, I wasn't even ready. I wasn't even prepared because it was the opening scene of Sunday night's episode is Jasmine feasting on Gino's hairy knuckle toes. It was absolutely disgusting, inappropriate, unacceptable. And that was the opening scene of the episode. At least if it was further down into the episode, I would have been prepared. I would have been warned by the little teasers that they show of what's going to be coming in or what's going to be coming up after the commercial break. But there was none of that. It was just opening episode, opening scene, his foot halfway down her throat. It was disgusting. So the next day, Gino tells us that they had crazy wild sex the night before, I guess after the knuckle toe eating incident, and he's hoping that Jasmine is pregnant. He had gotten Jasmine pregnant. Jasmine tells us that she still has to tell Gino that she has difficulties getting pregnant. In fact, we find out later that when she was trying to conceive her two boys, she had to take like some type of fertility treatment. I don't know if it was some type of hormone treatment or what it was, but she had to take some type of fertility treatment just to get pregnant with her two older children, which makes me question once again, like I did in my last review, if she has such a hard time getting pregnant, why was she taking birth control pills when Gino was visiting her in Panama and he was hoping to get her pregnant on one of his trips to Panama. Anyways, they need a continuity editor to make sure that their lies are making sense and that their lies are streamlined so that we're not questioning these gaping holes in these stories. So she makes this chart for Gino while they're still out there camping, because they're still camping for their honeymoon. So she's showing him this chart and she's telling him that during the week that she's ovulating, how many times they have to have sex per day. So it starts off with once a day, then the next day, 2 times a day, so on and so forth, up until like 4 or 5 times a day. And of course, Gino feels, very inadequate and overwhelmed about performing so much, but she's telling him, well, this is what we have to do if you want to get me pregnant. At this particular point, she has not yet told him that she has difficulties in getting pregnant. So, and then her theory of having as much sex as possible during ovulation, my understanding, that's not really correct. I think that kind of works against conception or having a high probability of conceiving, because my understanding is, if you're trying to actively conceive, you should probably be doing it every other day, because if you're doing it constantly every day, all day during that ovulation week, you are depleting and weakening the sperm so that it's not as strong and as vital to try to get to where it needs to get to make a baby. That was always my understanding, that don't do it a lot like that, just maybe once or twice every other day until ovulation is complete. But I could be wrong. But whatever she was talking about was the complete opposite of what I understood of what it takes to increase your chances of conceiving a baby. But moving on. So finally, Jasmine tells Gino that she has struggled with fertility in the past, that she needed to take fertility treatment. And Gino says, it's fine. He has faith that whatever's meant to be will be. If they're meant to have a baby, that they will have a baby. So he's acting like he's not really stressed about it because they don't really want to have a child. This is obviously just a storyline. Gino and Jasmine are not going to have a baby because I don't think that Jasmine wants to stay with Gino that long. Anyways, moving on. The next time that we see Jasmine, she's FaceTiming her mother and her sister, and the kids, her two boys, are staying with her mom and her sister. Jasmine tells us that Gino had promised her that he was going to help her bring her children here to America. Jasmine's mom, we find out, she's not feeling too well, and she's going through something with her health, and so Jasmine gets extremely worried about it, and her mother tells her, look, I just need to go back to the doctor because I need to run some more tests to find out exactly what's wrong with me. So Jasmine asks her mom and sister, how much is that going to cost? They tell her it's going to cost about $800. So she says that she's going to get the money from Gino. One way or another, Gino's going to pay for these tests. We'll see. So then Jasmine talks about how she feels really guilty because she's so far away from her mother. She says that she feels like a crappy mom and a crappy daughter because she's not with her children and her mom when they really need her the most. So she starts crying. She gets all emotional, and, you know, when Jasmine gets like this, it's just really difficult to gauge whether or not she's being serious, if these are real emotions, or if she's just playing it up for the camera. It's just really hard to tell because there are some things that happen in this episode that made me really question how serious Jasmine and Gino really were in bringing her children over here. So let's get to that. Then the next day, or whatever day it is, both Jasmine and Gino decide to go consult with an attorney about immigration issues and about getting her children here to America. So if an attorney is needed to get her kids here, Jasmine has already made it very clear to Gino that she wants to hire an attorney. And the reason why she is stressing this whole thing about hiring an attorney is because Gino prides himself in being able to maneuver through this complicated immigration process on his own without legal help. Because he said that's how he got his ex-wife here. That's how he got Jasmine here, because he has done all the paperwork himself. He doesn't need an attorney. He knows exactly what he's doing, and so far he believes he has been very successful in doing that. So Gino tells us that he cannot afford to hire an attorney right now, even if he wanted to hire an attorney, because all of his money went into the wedding. So when they are talking to the attorney, Jasmine, the first thing that she brings up is whether or not she can travel back to Panama to see her mom because her mom is sick. And the attorney tells her, yes, you are more than able to travel back and forth between the United States and Panama. You do need to complete these travel documents, though, and that can take anywhere from 8 to 12 months. So that disappoints her. So then Jasmine wants the attorney. So then they talk about her children and bringing her children here. And the attorney tells them that because in the initial paperwork that Gino had done for Jasmine, he did not include her children. So it's not as easy as amending her immigration documents to now apply for her children or to include her children. The attorney says basically with the children, you have to start from square one. And that can take up to 2 years to go through that process to bring your children here. And so Jasmine starts to cry because she had no idea that it would take that long. I don't know if she even knew that Gino did not include her children. I don't even understand how that even happened. These are this is what I'm talking about when I say that I kind of question whether or not she's actually serious about bringing her kids here, because I'm not understanding as a layman when it comes to the whole immigration process, because I have no idea what that process entails. I am not understanding at all how the children were left out. If the sole intention was to bring Jasmine and her children here, how do you leave the children? I think Gino told the attorney that he thought he can always work on the children's immigration afterward. And Jasmine even mentioned that when she came to America, she didn't want her children to come with her right away because she wanted to see how it would be to live with Gino, to live in America. She wanted to make sure that her and Gino were solid before she brought her children over here. Okay, fine. That makes sense and everything. But how did you not know that if you did not include the children initially, that it was going to take up to 2 years to include them later or to apply for their immigration status later? Because she starts to cry. She can't believe how long it's going to take. And I'm like, okay, maybe y'all didn't want to bring the children initially, but did y'all look into like how long it would take to bring them later? What does it entail to bring the kids later, to apply for them after Jasmine arrived? I just don't understand how they were completely blindsided by this information. So, didn't include her kids. So, okay. So, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm reading my notes. So, it's going to take a very long time to bring the kids here, but I'm pretty sure. Look, y'all, I don't know what's going on with Gino and Jasmine. I really want to say that there's probably going to be some loophole that they overlooked and her kids are going to come here sooner than later. But then I question if she even wants her children here to begin with. And I hate to say that about another mother, but Jasmine just kind of strikes me as someone who is like kind of selfish, and I think for her it's super convenient that her mom and her sister are taking care of her kids in Panama. You know, she can FaceTime them whenever she wants. Now she knows that she can travel back and forth. So I'm just kind of questioning on like how much of a priority it is it for her to bring her kids here. I just kind of question, and I feel bad about questioning that. Jasmine is a very difficult person, you know, to really sympathize for, and I don't want to question her motherhood or her mothering skills or anything like that, but something about Jasmine to me just kind of comes off as a little bit selfish. Moving on from there, let's talk about Nicole and Mahmoud. So Mahmoud has landed in California. When Nicole goes there to pick him up from the airport, you know, she has this huge sign, welcome Mahmoud, and she's so excited to see her husband, but he seems a little bit lackluster. He seems a little bit, he's not as enthusiastic about seeing his wife. I could care less if he's excited about being in America. He's just not that enthusiastic about seeing Nicole. You would think that after they've been separated for so long, he would have been running towards her, damn near knocking her down when he hugged her, but it was nothing like that. She was the one that had all the excitement, all the joy in seeing him. So they hug, they kiss, they start with all of the I love yous, my love, I love yous, and my love, on and on and on ad nauseum. So she showers his face with kisses, and she forcibly wants to kiss him on the mouth, but he keeps on turning his head away because he's not comfortable with showing that kind of, you know, PDA. And she tells him, well, you're in America now and it doesn't matter because nobody cares. Nicole, it's got nothing to do with whether anybody cares. It's just a part of him, his culture, his beliefs, to not do that in public. It's got nothing to do. He's not afraid of what people are thinking. It's just not in him to, you know, be so affectionate in public like that. He was raised, I guess, as a very strict Muslim. So his beliefs are very deeply ingrained in him. So it doesn't matter if he's in LA, New York, Boston, Cairo. It doesn't matter. He's just not comfortable showing that kind of affection, which I'm thinking to myself that, you know, she would understand that and she would respect that, because it doesn't mean he's not going to be affectionate at all. He's just not going to be affectionate like that in public. So Nicole tells him, okay, you're in America. No one cares. He doesn't care about that. And he did make a small mention of her outfit because she was wearing the top of the skirt that had like a little gap where you can see like an inch of her stomach. He did make mention of that, but he didn't make it such a big deal. So while they're driving to her home, you know, she's excited to show him all the sights of LA while they're driving. And he's just really, I'm assuming he's just really, really tired. He even talks about how tired he is. So I'm assuming that he's just extremely tired. And so he's not really like interested or enthusiastic about sightseeing or anything like that. And, he says that what kind of like struck him about LA as we're driving is the fact that there's not a lot of people out and about in the streets, and that it's very quiet. There's not a lot of noise. He says he's already missing Egypt. He's already feeling very homesick for Egypt, and he blames his lack of enthusiasm on the fact that the flight was so long and he's so tired. They finally get to her house. She gives him a small little tour of the house, and on her wall there is a picture, a very anatomically correct picture of a nude woman. And obviously he doesn't like it. Then she shows him her naked mannequins because she's a fashion designer, I guess. He doesn't like the naked mannequins either. And I just felt like this was just all like a lack of respect on Nicole's part. Just a complete lack of respect. I think it's easier for her to tone down than it is for him to change his beliefs. These people are not compatible, y'all. These people are absolutely not compatible. I don't know if what's keeping them together is a hot and cold of their relationship where they argue like cats and dogs, and maybe they have a lot of makeup sex afterwards. Maybe that's what's keeping them together, like Ashley and Manuel. I don't know. exactly what these two people see in each other, because they are like oil and water when it comes to everything. Everything under the sun, they're like oil and water. He wants her to be, because she did convert. She says she did convert to Islam. They got married in an Islamic ceremony. So he's thinking he's married to a Muslim wife. She is struggling with that. She doesn't want to be a part of that anymore. She wants to be her normal American LA self. So I feel like she's the one that flipped the script on him. If it was the other way around, where he was willing to accept her and all of her Americanness, and now he's trying to pump the brakes on her, then he would be wrong. But she's the one that led him to believe that she was going to convert in all ways into a traditional Muslim wife. And that's not what he got. She flipped the script on him. She didn't like it. So she shook off her Muslimness. And now she's very much American and has her American beliefs and her American culture and her American way of living. And that's not what he signed up for. So he's really struggling. And I think that's like the obviously, this is nothing new. That's their main area of contention. So she bought him sleeping clothes. So she presents him with a gift of some pajamas and underwear, just so stuff for him to sleep in. And he wasn't very excited about that at all. And she had told us before that the reason why she bought him pajamas and stuff was because in Egypt he would sleep in his street clothes. Like whatever he wore for that day to go out and about, he would come back home, and when it was time to go to bed, he would sleep in the same clothes. He didn't have pajamas per se. So she bought him some pajamas, and he really didn't care about that, like I said. And now she's really upset. Now she's getting aggravated about his attitude. She's like, what the hell? You're not excited. You're not happy. What's wrong with you? And he tells her, I'm really tired. It was a very long flight. And she tells him, I told you to sleep on the plane. And I'm really upset that you didn't. So she starts, berating him for not sleeping on the plane. And so he tells her, oh, I'm sorry, my love. I'll make sure that I'll do that next time. So when he said, I'll make sure that I'll do that next time, I was like, what are you trying to say, Mahmoud? You're planning on going back to Egypt? And what are you talking about? When is the next time that you're going to be on a long trip, like that, like a 23, 24, 25-hour flight? He says, I'm sorry, my love, but I'll make sure that I do it next time. So Nicole tells us that he better get with the program of living in America, because she is not moving back to Egypt. And he is homesick for Egypt. He's not that crazy about the United States. Because remember, y'all, the original plan for Nicole and Mahmoud was for her to go live in Cairo. That was the original plan. She flipped the script on him with that as well. When she arrived in Cairo to start this new life with him, she didn't like it, and she came back in a New York minute. So, like I said, I don't know why these people are together. I don't know what's drawing them together, what drew them together. I don't know what's keeping them together. But these people do not need to be together. And we all have heard that after arriving in America, I don't know how long he was living here until he got arrested. But Mahmoud ended up getting arrested for domestic violence because Nicole, I'm assuming it was Nicole, had called the police on him because they had an incident that got physical. And she ended up calling the cops, and he ended up, I think he bailed out the same day. So he got arrested. I guess he went to jail. I don't know. Then he bailed out the same day. The article that I read, I think was from people.com. It said that he had his friends help him bail out. These people are like oil and water. They do not need to be together. As much as they love each other or claim that they love each other, they don't need to be together. Moving on to Emily and Kobe. So they have finally arrived in Cameroon. And Kobe's best friend meets them at the airport. And the best friend is telling us how he came to find out about Emily and Kobe's relationship. He said that Kobe was living in China. Kobe had called him one day and said, look, I found this white girl. We hooked up. Now she's pregnant. And the friend was like, oh my God, what are you going to do? Then when he heard the next time that he heard from Kobe was like, well, we're getting married. Oh no, I proposed to her. Now we're engaged, and the rest is history. So I guess the friend was kind of like, the way he was telling the story, it was like in a way of, he was shocked. It was unexpected of Kobe to act like this. This was like unusual. So I'm wondering if he's a little bit kind of weary or doubtful of their relationship because everything happened so damn fast. But here we are. Now they're married. They got 2 kids, living with their parents, and it seems like, they're going pretty strong. So while they're at the airport parking lot and, a whole bunch of these porters or people that help you with your luggage come out of nowhere and they start helping them load up the luggage into the cars. And after all the luggage was loaded up, all of these porters, it was like maybe at least 5. I don't know, probably close to 10 porters all kind of swarmed around Kobe, and everybody's talking a mile a minute. And there's something I mean, to me it was really obvious that they were looking for money. They wanted to get paid for putting up the luggage in the cars. That was so obvious to me. I don't speak their language, but that's, to me, was really clear that that's what was going on. I don't know why Emily and her family was confused, because they acted like they were scared out of their mind. Like, oh my God, what's happening? What's going on? They want to get paid. So, Kobe, I guess, negotiated the price, paid them whatever he wanted to pay them, and then they all went away. Then when they got in the car to go to their hotel, Emily and her family were like, Kobe, what was all that about? What was going on? What were they telling you? And he explained to them they wanted to get paid. And so we were trying to negotiate a price. And so, her family's like, I think it was her mom, are they going to be following us back to the hotel? Lady, calm the hell down. Calm the hell down. Okay, because Kobe seems to be cool, calm, and collected. If he's not worried, why are y'all worried? And so, the dad was like, well, I guess, we're not going to be blending in. I don't know. Obviously, you knew that you were not going to blend in. And then Kobe made a comment about, well, now you see how I felt when I first arrived in Kansas. I didn't blend in. I still got like a sore thumb. So now you are getting, kind of like a taste of what I went through when I first arrived in Kansas. Moving on from there, the next day, they're driving through town, and they get a better look of the city that they're in. And of course, there's people living in shacks and whatever. So they're making a comment about that. And Kobe had said that this is like a hustler town. I don't know why he said that, because a lot of these towns overseas, they're like this, where people make their main living by selling goods and wares and whatever, selling their product. In a lot of countries across the world, this is how the average person makes their living. And so I don't know what he meant by this is a hustler town. So Emily said that she expected to see more animals, and she thought it was going to be more like the Lion King. Emily, you're ignorant as hell. I have no patience. Zero, zip, nil, nada, zero patience for people who are this ignorant. If you were Emily, girl, the days of people thinking that all of Africa looks like the jungle or the desert, the Serengeti, or, animals and giraffes, those days are long gone, because we have something called the internet. And Emily, if you had any interest in where your husband came from, if he was more than just a black man to you, if you had any interest in his culture, in his where he came from, his country, his upbringing, his history, you would have Googled wherever, I think it's Douala, you would have Googled Douala, Cameroon. What does it look like over there? Okay, Google Pics would have opened up your eyes. And so you wouldn't be saying ignorant things. I thought it was going to be like the Lion King. Emily, you're a grown woman with 2 kids. Stop talking like a 5-year-old. So the family wants to make sure. Okay, so the first thing that they do is he takes them to a clothing shop, right? Because he wants them to get like a traditional Cameroonian outfits to wear when they go visit his family. So they're in the store, they're trying on different things. It is what it is. And they're worried, Emily and her family, they're worried that by putting on, these traditional Cameroonian outfits, if this is going to somehow be disrespectful to his family, because they don't really understand the culture. They don't really understand what the clothes mean. So they don't want it to be like costumey, and be kind of disrespectful to the family. I kind of sort of get that. But like I said, if Kobe is the one encouraging you to do this, he knows his family better than you do. So if he's telling y'all, look, my parents would really like it if y'all put on, a Cameroonian outfits, then I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. Relax. Unless you just don't want to wear it. So Emily says that she feels really disingenuous wearing these type of things. Girl, if just say you don't want to wear it. Okay, just say you don't want to wear it. Your husband is telling you it's fine, it's okay, it's not disrespectful. Just go with the damn flow. Moving on to Rob and Sophie, who give me the biggest headache. So after their argument at the selfie place, because they decided to meet at this selfie place to talk about the future of their marriage and what they're going to do now. So after they argued about him saying, I'm sorry, not saying sorry, how he said sorry, what he was sorry about, Sophie gets up and she goes about her business. She leaves him there. So Rob is talking about how he really wanted to work things out together. And so he was really sad to see her walk away or whatever. So he talks about how, because she had forgotten her wedding ring back in LA. So when he came to Austin, he presented her with her wedding ring, and she was like, oh my God, where did you find that? I thought I lost it. So to him, he feels like she really didn't care about her wedding ring. It wasn't important enough for her to remember to keep it on her finger or to make sure that she had it with her. Whatever, moving on. So next time that we see them, Sophie by herself meets up with her mom at a bookstore, and the first thing her mom does is give her an update on her own relationship, because Sophie's mom is dating some guy, I forgot his name, and he lives in Texas. And so as soon as she sees her daughter Sophie, she tells her daughter, oh, and he told me the L word. I guess he said he loved her. And it's just, y'all, it's just sad and pitiful and pathetic that a woman this age with a grown adult daughter is like, okay, I understand blushing and being really giggly about a new love, a new relationship. I get that. But it seems like, she gets excited about the most base things, because the last time that we saw them, she also gave Sophie an update about, I think because he called her his girlfriend. So she told Sophie in the last episode, she was like, he referred to me as his girlfriend. And she was really excited about that. And I'm like, why don't you get excited about, him proposing? Get excited about him taking you on a trip around the world or something. Get excited about him buying you a house. Not this high school stuff, that would make a 16-year-old feel this way. Not a grown woman who's been in several relationships in her life and who has a grown daughter. Like, I don't understand. You're excited about the most basic things that a man can do for a woman, referring to you as his girlfriend, telling you the L word. Girl, get out of here. So after they're done with that nonsense, Sophie tells her mom that Rob had reached out to her and that he wants to meet up with her later, I think. And her mom tells her, no, don't do it. Rob the knob, he's not good enough for you. So she's trying to prevent her daughter from reconciling with her husband. And Sophie tells her mom, look, I just want to give him a chance. I just want to see, if we have anything left in this marriage. And I just want to give him a chance for us just to talk. And her mom is like, no, don't do it, Sophie. He's not good enough for you. And then her mother goes a step further and tells her that she believes that Rob is a sex addict because he was always, watching these, doing this online cheating where he was looking at naked girls online or whatever. And so she alleges that, Rob is a sex addict. And because she had an addiction issue herself, we find out that her mom had a drug addiction. She thinks that she's an expert on all types of addictions and she can spot an addict from a mile away. But Sophie doesn't fall for it. She's like, I don't think he's an addict. I think he's just a guy who likes to look at a lot of, porn on the computer. I think that's really what it boils down to. Now, my question is this. Now, we know that Sophie and Rob met online. Okay, we know that. Online where? Was it on her OnlyFans? Because I don't know if she still has one, but I think it's kind of well known that Sophie had an OnlyFans account. Do they meet there? I've always wondered, do they meet there like he was one of her paying customers and that's how they met? I've always wondered. Maybe they talked about how they met. Maybe it was, really innocent. Something really innocent and I completely missed it or overlooked it or forgot about it. But I've always wondered if, as much as he likes to look at naked women online, because it seems to be like an issue for Rob, as much as he likes to look at naked women online and communicate with these women, is that how he met Sophie? And if he did meet Sophie like that, I'm just like, girl, you knew what it was way beforehand. You knew exactly what it was. Moving on to Manuel and Ashley. So they've been married almost a year now. And Ashley tells us that they have made zero progress with her connecting with his children. So after a year of marriage, 10 years of dating, she has still not met his kids and has no relationship with his children, which to me, that is extremely odd. Now, I don't know if this is something that they're creating for a storyline, and in all actuality, Ashley probably does have a relationship with his kids behind the scenes, or it's not going to be a big deal when she does begin to have a relationship with his children. But I'm just like, I'm not buying this at all. It's just too odd and too weird to be with someone for a decade and not have any type of interaction with their children. That's just too crazy to me. I'm not falling for it. I think it's just a storyline. I think it's completely made up to give them a reason to be on this show, because I also had heard that Ashley and Manuel were kind of added in last minute, possibly to replace either Mahmoud and Nicole once they start deleting their scenes after his arrest, or possibly replace Michael and Angela after they start deleting their scenes, after, Michael had to run away from home because he was being abused by Angela. So I don't know. Those are the rumors. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm not saying that I believe it, but I'm just saying that this storyline of her not meeting his children is weak sauce. You've been with this man for 11 years or however many years, and you have not met his children. Y'all are married now, and you have not talked to his children. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what to make of that. So the more he is resisting it, because he keeps coming up with all these excuses of why he's not ready to introduce his kids to her. And this time he tells her, first he said that there was something going on. There was like a war. I don't know. He said there was a lot going on in Ecuador. That was his first excuse. His second excuse is, I forgot what his second excuse was, but he has a whole bunch of excuses. And Manuel says there was never his second excuse, or his 10th or 20th, is that there was never an opportunity for him to properly introduce Ashley to his children. Manuel says that his children's lives are private and are his business, so no one's going to force him to do anything. So the more he's resistant, Ashley says this makes her more determined to get him to meet his kids, or whatever it is I'm trying to say. So the more he's resisting it, the more determined she is to make him change his mind so that she can meet his kids. I'm not interested. I don't care. Moving on to Ed and Liz. They are now living in Arkansas, and they're living with Liz's daughter, Riley. So this is the first time that I saw Riley. So I got to meet Riley, and sweet little girl, smart little girl. And I always wonder, when I see these families on reality television, okay, do y'all remember the episode? Oh, there's too many to get. Y'all remember the episode where Ed walked into the living room butt booty naked? Not a stitch of clothing on. Of course, stuff was blurred out, but he walked into the living room butt booty naked. They talk about their sex lives a lot. And I just wonder, like, do your children know? Do their children know about these scenes and the things that are talked about? Like, how do you explain this to your kid? Do you allow, like, I'm just like baffled. Like, I'm hoping that the child does not watch this show and that has no idea what's going on this show, but now she's on the show. I don't understand. Okay. Anyway, so I got to meet Raleigh, and Liz and Ed are still engaged. Neither one of them, when they talk about the history of how they met and all the ups and downs that they've been through, both of them say that they never thought that they would get this far in their relationship, to the point where they are now engaged, talking about setting a wedding date. They never saw this coming. Ed says that the relationship between him and Riley reminds him of the relationship that he used to have with his own daughter. Now they talk about their finances. They're living off of savings because neither one of them has any income coming in. And Liz says that she gave up her partnership in the bar back in California because she was moving to Arkansas. So she lost that income. And so they're both going into real estate. They're waiting to take their state board exams, and they want to be this power real estate couple. They want to go into business together, selling houses. And Liz was questioning how well they can actually work together, because when they tried this before with the photography business, it was a huge fail. And that's all there is to say about Ed and Liz. I don't want to say anything else more because nothing else really happened. And let's just hope that Ed does not embarrass Riley by acting completely out of pocket. It's just like crazy to me that the things that they talk about and the things that they do, and their children are going to see this one day, if not already. Anywho, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video, like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.